Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a full review and tour of MSC Seascape. If you have done any amount of research, then you know that there are tons of things online that negatively review this ship. Well, I'm here to give you a fair evaluation to determine if booking this ship is the right choice for you and your loved ones. The two things that people complain about the most when it comes to this ship is the food and entertainment. So for the food, I'm going to look at the quality as well as the variety of food that's provided. Also, the entertainment, looking at all the options that are on board. Some other things that I plan to cover include the staff and the quality of their service, the cabins, the adult only area. Also, if you have kids, is this the right ship for you? Also, in general, what does the ship look like? The gym, getting around, the bars and specialty restaurants and elevators. Let's start off by going to the Atrium, which is the first thing you'll see when you walk on board. I, for one, love the fact that they clap and welcome you on board. Once you get on board, the first thing you want to do is get to the top deck to the pool area because that's where they have the sail away party. Here's a little information about the ship. It is a big ship. It's one of MSC's largest. It sails out of Miami, which is the home port, and it can hold over 5,000 passengers. The images you're going to see right now is the Atrium, and the Atrium is absolutely beautiful. I said earlier, this is where you first enter the ship, and it has a wow factor. It goes up 4 different floors, and there are lots of entertainments all the time here at the Atrium. Without a doubt, the Atrium is the heart of the ship. It's the most well-visited interior portion of the ship. If you look around, you can see that the bar anchors the Atrium. It also has a very contemporary design. It's very metallic, lots of glass and reflective items all around. The Atrium is also the center of entertainment. You'll find lots of dance performances. There's always a musician in the Atrium playing pretty much around the clock. It is really the central heartbeat of the entire ship. In addition to having lots of seating all around, the 4 levels of the Atrium branch off to all the essential parts of the ship. We are back on the top deck looking at the main pool, and I gotta say, for a ship this size with that many passengers, it's pretty small, not a large pool. It has lots of seating all the way around it though, and what I like about the seating is that the closer ones to the pool, those are really nice because you get to see the pool, and the ones that are further away, they're right next to the edge, so you get the chance to look out and see the ocean. There are lots of live entertainment on the main pool to include a DJ. It is a saltwater pool, but there are showers all around. There are also 2 fairly nice sized hot tubs on this main deck. Even though, in my opinion, I felt the pool was a little small, there was still plenty of deck space. If you want to reserve one of those chairs, you got to get out there as early as 7:30. This main pool is open most of the daylight hours. However, it's not open 24 hours. At nighttime, you can see it takes on a completely different flair. We are still on board the Seascape. What you're looking at right now is an indoor water park. You cannot see it when you look at it from the outside because this is inside in the belly of the ship. It's an absolutely beautiful water park. The kids absolutely love it. It has directional water guns. It has a bunch of slides. Kids stay here and have fun all day. There are a total of 3 slides that are connected to the indoor water park. They are awfully fun. My personal favorite is going to be the one that have the inner tube. This is me right here going down the slides. There are tons of fun. As a parent, I strongly recommend one of the first things you should do is have your kids come here so you can have them sign the waiver form and they'll give them a wristband. This is another pool. It's the indoor pool, the jungle pool. It's very tropical, very green, very lush. It is absolutely fantastic. Again, it has a saltwater pool, but it has 2 whirlpools on either side. It's an absolutely beautiful area. This area is yet another location that is not visible from outside the ship. And as you can see, as you look around, it is very green. It is very lush. It's quite beautiful. The one thing I did not like about this area was that it was extremely hot and humid, and it seems like it stayed hot and humid pretty much all the time. Though they had free games here, you had to sign out the equipment, and the bad news was there wasn't always somebody to sign them out, especially after hours. If you came to this pool after hours, as you can see, the pool remains open. On the cruise I was on, lots of teenagers love to come here and hang out. If you have young kids, there were lifeguards all around. However, I didn't see any life vests that were available. Let's switch gears and talk about entertainment. For many of the shows, you had to use your phone and sign in because there were sometimes limited space and seating for them. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it gets to be quite full. For me, the entertainment was just okay. It wasn't horrible, but was nothing to write home about or to really make a big deal of. But as you can see, people enjoyed it. They were clapping here. So for most people, they found the entertainment to be just fine. Now, let's talk a little bit more about all the entertainment options that were done on board. Ours was a pretty typical cruise. It was 7 days. 4 days we were on the ship, and then 3 days we were at port. I personally like to keep myself busy, and I had no problems finding things to do, whether it was game shows, trivia, live music, you name it. There was plenty of entertainment options available all the time, and love the fact that there were lots of places that had live music. Now, as you can see, we're in the buffet. That means it's time to talk about food. Something you probably don't like hearing is that the average person gains a pound a day while they are on board a cruise ship. Of all the things that people were concerned about, bad food topped the list. People come on board because they want to pig out, they want to have a great time, and food is one of the ways that they do that. Prior to coming on the Seascape, I had been on 2 other MSC ships, and the food on those 2 ships was absolutely horrific. Now, when it comes to talking about food, I want to focus on 2 things. Number 1, the quality of the food, and also the variety. Now, I am going to have to disagree with a lot of people on the internet because MSC did a phenomenal job on both ends. The food was terrific, not just me, but I talked to other passengers on board and people in my own group, and the food was really outstanding. And also, there was a ton of variety, both European and American type food. If you want to have soda, you have to get the soda package, which could cost you as much as maybe $10 to $12 per day. There was also a place in the buffet where you could get pizza, and in my opinion, the pizza on board MSC Seascape is the best I have ever had on board a cruise ship, hands down, period. So the food overall was a huge surprise, expecting it to be very bad, but it turned out to be exceptionally good. The downside about the food was, other than the main buffet and the pizza area, after hours there was not a lot of places on board where you could eat. When it comes to the hand washing station and sanitation, it kind of tucked in the corner. It wasn't really a major priority that I could see. For the ice cream lovers out there, there is gelato available, but it is at an extra cost. Now, this is one thing MSC deserves lots of credit for, and it's the staff service at the buffet. There is a button that you can press on each table, and the waiter will just come over and get your order or bring your drink directly to you. We're moving now from the marketplace buffet, and we're headed to the main dining room. A lot of ships have dining rooms that have very high ceilings that go up several levels. This is not the case when it comes to MSC Seascape. There are lots of areas where you can eat on board the Seascape, to include 4 main dining rooms and a total of 11 restaurants. Make sure you bring your cell phone on board because you'll need it in order to order food. However, at times the Wi-Fi did not work very well, so it's something I think they need to work on. But as far as the quality of food that was served in the dining room, I was extremely impressed. I heard a lot of negative reviews about the food. However, I was pleasantly surprised that I really enjoyed the meal. And here are some snapshots of what meals look like. I thought the service was exceptional. I talked with several of the guests about the quality of the staff and the service, and they were pretty impressed. It was pretty good service all the way around. People dressed relatively nice for dining, especially when it came to formal night. Including the main dining halls, there are a total of 11 restaurants on board. So that meant that there are lots of specialty restaurants. I ate at several, and I thought the food was exceptional. I love the performance that they provide with the knives and the different acrobatic things that they were doing. It's an experience, not just the food, but it's also a theatrical performance almost. As we take a look at some of the restaurants on board, I strongly encourage you to like and subscribe. This helps other people find my content, also helps my channel tremendously. So if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. Of all the restaurants on board, the most classy is going to be Butcher's Cut. It's their steakhouse, and the most informal is going to be Hola Tacos. Overall, I really enjoyed my food on board. It was one of the things I was looking forward to the least. However, it was one of the things I enjoyed. This here is the waiting area for the specialty restaurant, and it looks fantastic. This is the sports bar, and as you can see, they have booths in this nice plush leather with your individual screens. It was absolutely well decorated, fantastic. While you are on board, you'll find that there are tons of things to do to keep you busy. This is the outdoor movie theater. One of the things that MSC really does well is that they have lots of things late at night. The best thing of all for you to really go to is going to be their karaoke. It's usually sold out. You saw a range of performance from absolutely horrible to absolutely fantastic. So this is a must. Now, they also have an outdoor Robotron as well as other paid type, arcade type games. I really thought that was a big miss. These are extra cost items. They range in price from 12 to say 20 bucks. I just really thought that it was not a good option. What I did see a lot of people doing is playing board games and really enjoying time with family. I thought it was a family fun cruise ship. There were lots of people there. We were there in the middle of the summer, and it was absolutely filled with families, and there weren't that many kids. I would say maybe a third of the passengers on board were kids, but everyone seemed to be having a good time. And when I talked to passengers, they really seemed to enjoy their time on board, and they were not looking forward to the trip, largely because of what they heard online. But in my opinion, it not just surprised me, but it surprised a lot of other passengers. For those of you who are not familiar with traveling on MSC, MSC is known as a budget cruise line right below Carnival. So you're going to find items for a good price. Now, we paid $1,000 per person on board, and this is what we got when it came to a cabin. You can see it's a balcony cabin. My wife got another upgrade, and she had a whirlpool, and you'll see that in just a moment. But I thought the cabin was exceptional. I love the fact that it had a balcony. This is my wife's whirlpool cabin that also has, get this, a walk-in closet. I love the fact that we got so much for our money. We felt that we were not taken advantage of, and we felt that it was a good bang for the buck. $1,000 outdoor cabin, 7 days. It was a pretty good deal. Now, this is me walking into my wife's walk-in closet, and you can see tons of storage space for a ship cabin. But again, it's tight. It's a ship cabin, so it's not necessarily going to have a tremendous amount of space like a hotel room. But I didn't feel like I was crammed either. I thought also that it was well appointed, and it had plugs. It had USB ports built in, so you didn't have to bring a whole lot of converters. It was really well done. And if you loved your cabin so much that you wanted to stay in there, there's a room service that's offered at an extra charge. Because we were there in the summer, there were lots of kids on board, and there is an adult-only area. So the big question is, do the kids invade this area? And the answer to that is no. Not only did they not invade, but they also had people who were watching for them. And as soon as they came on board, they, in the area, they were blowing their whistles and they were ushering them out. So if you wanted to sneak your kids in this area, they're not going to let you do it. There is a well-appointed gym and spa area. Right now we're in the gym, and as you can see, the decor is absolutely beautiful. One of the challenges, the biggest challenge of this gym, is that it was so small. For a ship that has 5,000 passengers, there were plenty of times when I saw people who would come down, like this lady and gentleman here in the back in the distance, and they're just waiting for someone to get off the apparatus. Also, a lot of machines were broken, and there was no time limit as far as how long you spent on the machine. This right here is the spa area, and spas are available at an extra charge, usually starting around $100 on up. There's also a well-appointed salon and barbershop. I did not get a spa treatment. However, they do offer free teasers, which I got 3 of. If you like to gamble, there is a casino. I have never seen a more empty casino on board a cruise ship in a long time, but it is not full at all. They have both table games as well as slot machine games. But again, most of the time that I was there, it was pretty much empty. They do serve lemonade, all you can drink. However, Anything that has alcohol in it, you're going to have to pay from about maybe $8 on up to 15 and even more than that. There are a total of 18 bars on board the ship, so there are plenty of opportunities for you to get hammered. There is a drink package available. However, you got to do the math. You have to drink sometimes maybe 15 drinks in order to be able to justify the drink package. However, I will say that of all the cruise ships out there that I was able to research, MSC has the lowest, if not one of the best prices for their drink packages. So that's also an option. When it comes to staff service, this is something that usually does not stick out to me. I usually don't pay attention to it. However, on board this ship, I felt that the staff service was absolutely exceptional. MSC is a family-oriented cruise ship, so you're going to find lots of kids on board. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about the kids center and the kids zone and teen zones that they have, but about 1 in 3 passengers while we were on board were children. We did skip the boarding process, which is what I like to talk about now. Again, this is a large ship. It sails out of Miami. This is the home port. And for those of you who don't know, Miami is the largest cruise port in the world. Boarding for us was not a problem. We actually got there 2 hours early and we were able to get on with absolutely no problem. I absolutely recommend you take your US or passport with you because they have facial recognition. Getting on board is an absolute breeze. While I was sailing with teenagers as well as smaller children. So it was a great experience for me to drop my kids off at the kids zone and pick them up at dinner time. So it gave me the opportunity to enjoy the cruise, and the kids had a great time in the kids zone. There's also a teen zone for older kids. There is an arcade on board, although I will say the games for the arcade are awfully expensive. You're looking at $1.50, $2 a game. So in about 10 minutes, you could really run up the bill quite high. I recommend. Now, this is something I want to talk about because a lot of people complained about this online, and it's getting around the ship. Of course, there are stairs on board. There's almost a dozen different floors that you have to get up and down. And the way most people do that is by using the elevators. And what they have is a system called a smart elevator. What that means is that you press the button and it tells you how long you'll have to wait. And then it tells you also what elevator you need to wait for. Most people hated this. They just like the traditional elevator option because it's easy to understand. Once your elevator arrived, that's the only elevator you can go on. And as you can see, once you get inside, you can't determine where to go. Now, look at this lady right here. She just came, she pressed the button, she realized, hey, look, you know what, it's too long a wait. And she has decided that she wants to take the stairs. It gives you the option to say, hey, look, you know what, I'm going to wait. However, I may just want to take the stairs. But in my opinion, most people I talked to absolutely hated the smart elevators. Now let's switch gears and talk about the internet package that's available. The internet package on ships have come a long ways. In the older days, they didn't work at all, but now they are extremely fast. This person right here is doing a live stream with video. That's how fast it goes. However, the video packages, the ones that are more powerful, are far more expensive. There are lots of shopping opportunities available. One thing you may not like is that I felt that the shopping experience was a bit more upscale. I also felt that it was a lot of, not pressure, but it was a lot of asking to sell to us. In other words, people kept on barraging you with opportunities to buy and upsell. I thought it was a bit off-putting, but once you told them no, they pretty much left you alone. But the fact that it kept on happening over and over again in a multitude of venues was extremely annoying. At least to me, some of the passengers really didn't care that much. Another thing that people complained about online was the condition of the ship. They felt it wasn't clean enough. However, for me, when I looked around and I was looking really hard, it was really picture perfect. And that's because a lot of members of the crew spent a lot of time making sure that the ship was in tip-top shape, and it looked great. When it comes to getting around, it was poorly designed. The yacht club, which is the exclusive club area of the ship, was in a central area of the ship and it cut off other areas. So you had to find convoluted ways to get around it. However, they had a map system that was extremely easy to use, and I saw a lot of people using it, and it was really helped to get around the ship. Now, what you're going to find is that people are going to walk far more often on a cruise ship than they would at home. Just in getting up and going to different places on board and trying to have a good experience, you're going to put a lot of steps on. But the reality is that most of the time, you're not going to be walking around, you're going to be sitting down. And there were tons of seating spaces that were very comfortable and relaxing. Also, when it comes to wheelchair access, there were lots of people that I saw on board that had disability challenges and mobility issues and needed wheelchairs. So if you are wheelchair bound, getting on the elevators may be a little challenging, but otherwise it's going to be a fun experience. If you were to look online, you would notice that MSC Seascape received a lot of unfair criticism. And I think those are by people who had unreal expectations of what it's like to be on board a cruise ship. I have cruised with every single cruise line out there, and I cruise many times a year. And I can tell you that MSC, some other ships, are horrific, and I've been on a few. However, the Seascape actually has changed my opinion about MSC to make me want not only to cruise with MSC, but I would definitely cruise on the MSC Seascape. So is it worth your time and money? The answer to that question is absolutely.